During the Vietnam War, a top-secret mission called Operation Popeye seeded clouds over the Ho Chi Minh Trail to create floods and wash out the enemy's supply routes. Reporter Jack Anderson is credited with breaking that story back in 1971. A Discovery Channel program, which first aired in February 2007, investigated so-called chemtrails, describing them as contrail formations that persist in the skies 4 hours after a jet passes, but the military refused them access to jet fuel for testing. I suspect it may be some sort of weather control, said Stamps, Arkansas resident Bill Nichols in our first report on the subject, which aired on KSLA News 12. Nichols handed us a mason jar with a sample inside containing water and "other" material collected recently from his backyard. Independent testing at a Shreveport, LA lab did show high levels of barium, a hallmark of other chemtrail testing. Louisiana regulators described such a reading as unusual, but very difficult to prove its source. Chemtrail skeptics argue barium is used very often commercially, for everything from mining to oil drilling, but Chang told me that's exactly why they considered such material safe to use in our skies as a Welsbach particle, but no one has yet to officially confirm a direct connection between these alleged chemtrails and the U.S. military. Such a discovery is the holy grail of chemtrail researchers. Such a revelation, if there is indeed such a covert program in existence at all, would require someone to step forward and potentially risk court-martial or legal action. Until then, the guessing and the waiting continue. Story by Jeff Farrell. For more evidence of chemtrails, this report on www.rumormal News from Canada. Heads up, boost your immune system now. What's happening in Canada? What to do?
What to do? What to do? When is it illegal? When is it legal for us to defend ourselves and shoot down the chemtrail planes? And we have a right to defend ourselves, right? Where's the line at? I mean, this is so diabolical. And they all know about it. The senators and Congress and all that. And see, our military has not been for the people for decades. And what I find really funny, strange, is that there are so many patriots out there that really believe when the shit hits the fan, our military is going to be on our side. Oh gosh, that's so far from the truth. We lost them a long time ago. Obviously, you can, from the reports here and the other reports, the weather modification videos that Assassinate Evil put out. Is it True News too? Put out a lot of them too in the past. Publishing the documents that date back to 1976, I think it was, or 75. And the treaty with Russia in 1976 that they wouldn't use weather warfare against each other. Of course, the U.S. broke that treaty a long time ago. And they're serving the devil.
103. Posted by Christal River. Less than send email greater than. Date, Tuesday the 9th of June 2009 09-17-05. In response to, are these the new chemtrails or maybe countermeasure against them? Incredible video. Sandollar. Dear ARM agents and readers, just received these this morning. Thought you should know. Hey all, just want to report from Vancouver, Canada. There is a very strange mix in the chemtrails today. In all my 10 plus years of daily keeping track on all levels, I have never felt this one before. When I left the house this morning, I noticed that instead of the usual milky white, Sky. There was a mist that went from cloud level to the ground, just a mist, although it was hot and morning mist should have long been gone. I have a long bus ride to the university where I study, so I usually do my reading on the way up, on the bus, but today I found I couldn't focus my eyes. Physically, it was very strange. I strained but could hardly get any reading done. In class, one found it difficult to stay awake, though it was only a 2-hour class. Finally I get home thinking, well, maybe I'm just overtired, but happened to glance in the mirror in the bathroom, and holy moly, my pupils were totally dilated. Haven't seen that since the 60s. No wonder I couldn't focus. Anyway, a new chemtrail mix in this neck of the woods as far as I can tell. Peace and love. Not certain, but that sounds like sodium hexafluoride and possibly a brominated material. The mists are what was described in UK as harbingers of everyone getting flu-like symptoms. I'm certain the mists are the delivery sparandy for the flu. Avian or swine are the one other I heard about, which contains a genetically mutated form of Ebola. Years ago I saw the patents that describes a weaponized form of this monster, has a high fungal profile with Ebola strains mutated in it. Better get some form of shikimic acid, star anise or licorice root and chew on them and eat with boiled eggs. That is a good source of sulfur. Same combo as Tamiflu. But you just eat them, suck on the star anise and then chew and swallow. Will not hurt you. Lignite coal solutions such as Willard's Water XXX can be used to neutralize sodium hexafluoride. You can get off the internet at Willard's Water or Catalyst Altered Water. Have also seen the patents where the US Air Force uses melanin powder in these sprays. You
bastards.
104. Inhale and makes you super sleepy and tired. Now, making people really sick. Can't see, think you might die. Then the martial law exercise in July makes a lot more sense. They will offer emergency vaccines, just as we always thought they would. This is the front line in battling these damned serpents. Mike Castle. Dilated pupils indicate sympathoma medica means possibly cholinergic, serotonergic or dopaminergic. These three are the most common pharmaceutical classes which cause dilated pupils. Mydriasis, for example, an agent to ruin memory, anticholinergic, can have this effect. I would bet on cholinergic in the chemtrails. The military has been experimenting with these since the 50s. They would be great for disrupting social memory. The key to determining which class is to note other side effects, sweating, dry mouth, etc., and you can tell which class the pharmaceutical agent belongs. Sympathoma medica means symptoms based on receptor system. 1. Serotonergic, any of the following: altered visual perception, visual fragmentation, synesthesia, crossing of senses, lack of emotion or unprovoked intense emotion, inability to coherently integrate emotions, altered perception of time and space, altered perception of self in world, or self through time, altered function of empathy, muscular tension, teeth grinding, altered visual processing and visual system integration, nausea, fragmentation of time sense, coherency. Examples include LSD, Prozac, Paxil, Zoloft, MDMA, Celexa, Remeron. 2. Dopaminergic, any of the following: increased heart rate, feelings of power or invincibility, increased pulse, blood pressure, confidence, altered perception of time, suppressed appetite, altered function of memory processing or integration, insomnia, suppression of slow-wave sleep, induction of serum cortisol, altered immune system function, suppression of adaptive immune system, induction of neutrophil activity, possible dehydration. Examples include amphetamine, bupropion, methylphenidate, modafinil, ephedrine, epinephrine, etc. 3. Cholinergic, any of the following: lack of sweating or profuse sweating, lack of salivation or profuse salivation, confusion, memory loss, muscle weakness, muscle tremor, profoundly real, visual hallucinations, fragmentation of time sense, coherency, disorientation, externally obvious, psychosis, etc. The biggest giveaway is profoundly increased or decreased salivation. Examples include chlorpheniramine, brompheniramine, diphenhydramine, atropine, BZP, etc. and of course nerve agents. Most first-gen military weapons 1950s involved number 3, but I am sure they have some complex mixes these days. The vast majority of the spraying contains a military non-carbon based nanotech synthetic epigenetic parasite with synthetic erythrocytes, but no doubt the Luciferian NATO military are throwing drug aerosols in there too to make sure the sheep'll stay brain dead. http://n.wikipedia.org/wiki/3-quinuklidinyl_benzylate 23 evidences to the existence of an international corporate crime syndicate.
Yeah, don't support the military. I know it's nice to say, oh, we support the military and blah blah blah, but my God, they're out there to kill us too. So nothing like supporting the person who's going to eventually put you in your grave. I don't support them. They're not for the people. They've never been. Well, they were for the people at one time, but they haven't been for the people in a long time. Or else they would have taken care of Washington and done their jobs like they should have and arrested the treasonous bastards. But instead, they went along to serve the devil, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, the Soros. I know they all pretend, and Trump pretends too. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Many videos ago. About the RICO Act, too, is that Jared Kushner, sources say, and there is documentation on this, that he had owed Soros like about $1 billion or some outrageous amount. And what Israel did was use Kushner in that loan situation with Soros as a bribe to convince Trump to declare Jerusalem the capital of Israel. And that's beyond treason. And he's not qualified to be there. He also has he and his wife have a lot of money invested in the illegal settlements. The World Zionist Organization, which is very difficult to get the names of the members, but he is one of them, and they support and pay for a lot of the settlements. I'm sure our tax dollars do too. But right there, he is committing an international crime by investing in them, and he's number 2 person in Washington. And if you notice Trump, he's surrounded by, as they call them, Ashkenazi Jews. It's almost like a normal person, a normal human being is not qualified for any of those positions, and he had to appoint Jews to all those positions. I know if there were no non-Jews there, the Jews would be screaming, "Why don't you have a Jewish person anti-Semitic?" Well, Trump's as anti-American as anybody before him, except for he's totally worse. He flaunts it, and he gets people, and they call themselves patriots, to support him in his genocide with